I got 3 verses for you today. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The next verse I have is Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. I think there's a lesson in there somewhere. Proverbs, I guess I've got 4, excuse me. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will straighten your path. Anybody give me an idea about what our sermon's going to be over today? The Lord is with you. The Lord will fight for you. The Lord will protect you. He'll walk with you. Well, I hate to sound like a cliche, but you've got a friend in Jesus.
Amen.
Right? Friends are there for you during the worst of times and the best of times. They're there for you when you're not at your best, when you're not at your nicest, when you're not the person you used to be, and they tell you, I miss you. Come back. Folks, Jesus does that to us, it seems like, every hour of every day. He's been missing us ever since He left. He told all of them, I'm going to go prepare a place for you and await your arrival. I don't know what went wrong after that, but look where we're at. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the world is evil. Just most of it. What do you think about it? The world wants you to think about money, right? How many times have you heard the cliche, money is the root of all evil? The world wants you to believe that you're more important than the person next to you. Nobody's ever heard that. It's all about me. Well, that person is selfish. You ever seen a kid that's selfish?
Yes.
Somebody touches one of their toys and they run over there like they ripped a piece of skin off of them. Grab it back and they're all mad names. That's mine. Well, why don't you and I play with it so we can have fun? Well, that's mine. I'm going to put it up. I want to keep that. Well, you keep that. I'll go play someplace else. But when you're facing cancer, when you're facing a wife and children that are leaving the home because they can't no longer live with the husband or the father, when you are facing kids being taken away because the environment they live in is so bad that even our government, now I want to say this nicely because they're probably listening, our government deemed that environment too bad and that they needed to take the children from that home and put them in there. When you're doing stuff like this in your life, it's really hard to listen to a guy standing up here thumping on a Bible, screaming and hollering at you, telling you God's your friend, God's your neighbor, God loves you, God will help you, and you're like, when? Where? How? When you ask. When you get to the end of everything that you realize you have any power over, that's where Jesus is waiting. When you get to the point when you don't have an answer, God, I can't cure cancer on my own. He's like, I know. I got you. When you say, Lord, I can't face this world anymore. I'm tired of the pain, the humiliation, the fear, and the illness. Son, don't worry. There will be a day when there is no pain, no fear, no violence, no hunger. There'll be love and joy, hope, and forgiveness. There will be a day when things are better. But until then, we are called upon to do the best we can with the best we have. So I want you to take your right hand, raise it up. Everybody raise it up. Take it like this. Pat yourself right here. You are the best there is. Give yourself a pat on the back. You saw the message. You answered the call. You came to church. You prayed. And you looked for hope. You looked for forgiveness. And you looked for strength. Right? You look for strength so you get back out there on Monday and do the same thing over again. It's amazing to me that somebody can come up with the answer to things like this, and they say the very definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Now, I don't know, has anybody in here ever swung a hammer on a nail? Raise your hand. If you've ever, okay. Just out of the blue someday, did that hammer suddenly not hit the nail when you swung it? Most of the time. Once you got the skill, you're driving those nails. When I was a young pup and got started on a framing crew, I had the privilege, we'll call it that, to work under an older gentleman. He didn't know what an air compressor was or a nail gun. He didn't have any use for a battery-powered drill. What he did have was a 26-ounce framing hammer. Now, if anybody's ever swung a hammer, those little ones you use in the house, most of them are 12 or 16 ounces. The framing hammer is anywhere between 18 to 20, somewhere in that area, and then the heavy-duty ones come in after that. He had forearms like Popeye. And he would take nails, he would take at least a dozen nails, he'd put them in his mouth, and as he would go down through there, he'd take that nail, he'd set it down there, tap it once, boom, nail went in. Never missed, didn't quit till he got to the end. He learned what to do with what he had, and he made it work the best he could. And I'm supposing that that's what the message about today is going to be. Folks, we knew the world was flawed, didn't we? We woke up one morning and somebody slapped us in the face while we were playing with toys, and you go, that's not fair. We realized that, didn't we? At an early age. Somebody took something away from us. I don't know, maybe it was our chocolate milk at lunch or what have you. But we learned real quick. Not everybody's on the same page we are. When we begin to feel like we're safe and we're comfortable and we're sitting still and hiding in our little place, we don't think anybody's going to mess with us. And all of a sudden the world comes along and boom, everything we thought we had gets turned upside down. That's what the world does. But it's the people that don't forget and don't quit that rise up, dust themselves off, and begin again. Knowing that these verses tell us, fear not, I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. And then he tells you what he's going to do with you, for you, and to you. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you in my righteous right hand. He will fight for you. This is the part I like. And you only have to be silent. Think about that for a minute. If you make a prayer and you ask God for help and you complain about how he delivered that prayer, I don't feel like he'd be very inspired to help you again anytime soon, right? Would you? If you saw somebody on the side of the road with a flat tire, you pulled over, it's 112 degrees, you spent 3 hours trying to change it because the lug nuts are rusted on, you finally get it out, you get the tire changed, you're sweating, you're dripping, and the guy goes, man, you scratched my car, I'm suing you. Would you want to stop again and help somebody? No. I'd want to beat him over the head with a tire tool. Well, I mean, that's the natural reaction, isn't it? You try and offer somebody help, and they throw it back in your face. You try and offer somebody charity, and they tell you they don't need it. You try and offer somebody hope, and they turn from it. I don't want to hear that. Well, what are you doing that's working so good? That's what I want to say to them. What are you doing that's working so good you don't need God, you don't need forgiveness, you don't need hope or health or strength or a new job or an understanding or a better relationship with your family? What do you do? Oh, you're doing crack. Oh, you're doing alcohol. Oh, you're doing gambling. You're doing anything you can to hide from the fact that you ain't doing what you need to. Welcome to the world. And that's its power. It takes all this other stuff that is out here that's just glamorous, glitzy, flashy, and it throws it in your face so that you get blinded from the truth and you get lost. You take a step off that path and you find yourself in a neighborhood you don't recognize. And then somebody comes along behind you, slaps you on the shoulder and says, don't worry, we call that life. That's life. It's not the one I have in mind. I don't think it's fair. I don't like it when people take my toys and tell me I can't play outside. I don't like it when people tell me I can or can't make enough money to pay the bill. What I do like is the message I continue to hear from the teachings of Jesus Christ every single time. Love one another. Help one another. Hold each other up. Decide you're going to come together. Decide you work as a group, because many hands make for light work. Anybody ever heard that one before?
Yes.
One mind or two minds is better than one. Anybody ever heard that one? Three minds is putting it on the edge, though. Because then you're going to have your opinion, somebody else's opinion, and an opinion that nobody knew was coming. And it's usually out in left field somewhere, isn't it? So as we get ready to go to communion, I want you to think about that for a minute. What life do you want to live while you're here? How do you want every moment from this moment on to be? Do you want it to be in service to a God that has promised you everlasting life, forgiveness, hope, love, no sickness, no pain, and an eternity in paradise? Or do you want to live here? Now I know, don't get me wrong, he's got good points. Nature's kind of beautiful till it gets cold or hot. Scenery is great till somebody decides they want to live there and they tear it all down to make houses. Wildlife is wonderful till somebody decides they want to drain the swamp that the birds nest in so that they can create a golf course. And I like golf courses, but anyway. You see what we're trading our lives for? Anybody? Can anybody see what we're trading it for? We're taking the real true treasure, hope, love, faith, understanding, forgiveness, and trading it for fear, for greed, for pain and suffering. Because the world told us this is good. But it's not. So today I'm going to ask you to do something that most people probably would never ask you to do. I want you to leave the world behind. Look it square in the eye, grab it by both ears if you have to get it to hold still, and tell it, I'm not playing your game anymore. I'm playing the game that came from my Creator. The one that says, when I build on a rock, that house won't fall. The one that says, when I put my faith in Him, I will not be condemned. I will not be forgotten. Unlike this world. And I'm going to walk with somebody that has true wisdom about all the things of creation. My ears are going to be open. My hands will be ready to work. And I'll be looking for an opportunity to help my fellow man ease his time here just a little bit. And I hope you do too. Take your problems that you have today. Think about them long and hard as you come up here and we go through this communion. And I want you to think about it right here at this altar. Every problem the world has ever seen can be laid. Taken care of by somebody that has the power to actually do something about it. And relieve you of the burden of having to carry that around with you. so that you can live a life that God intended, one of faith, one of happiness, one of understanding. Please turn to page 12 in your handbook.